Hello, good day everyone. We are the presenter of the Module 6, Managing the Finance Function from the Bachelor of Science in Aeronautical Engineering 3-7. First is the finance function. What is the finance function? The finance function is an essential management duty which is concerned with the acquisition and administration of funds with a view to achieving business objectives. And if the engineering manager runs the business as a whole, he must be concerned with determining the amount of funds necessarily, how to obtain them when they are needed, and how to use them effectively and efficiently. The engineering manager, at whatever level of management he is, he must do his part in achievement of the company's financial goals in the execution of his duties. One of the three basic management features is the finance function. And here is the process flow of the finance function. First step, we have the determination of fund requirements. Next is the procurement of funds. And lastly, we are achieving the effective and efficient use of funds. Let's tackle first the determination of fund requirements. For the following basic criteria of every company, including an engineering firm, would need funds to first, to fund routine operations. Next, number two, to support the credit facilities of the company. Number three, to fund the inventory purchase. And number four, to fund the acquisition of large properties. Moving to the next topic, we have the finance daily operations. In order to take care of costs as they arrive, the day-to-day activities of the engineering companies would need funds. Money for payment must be made available as follows. Number one is the wages and the salaries. Two, rent. Number three is taxes. Four, power and light. Five, marketing expenses like those for advertising, entertainment, travel expenses, telephone and telegraph, stationery and printing, postage, and etc. And last, number six, administrative expenses like those for auditing, legal services, and etc. The effective flow of work in the company may be disrupted by any delay in the settlement of the above expenses. It may also erode the public's confidence in a company's ability to survive on a long-term basis. For example, creditors may withhold the extension of credit to the company. We are now tackling the financing firm's credit services. In extending credit to consumers is also inevitable for companies. Sales terms range from cash to 90-day credit extensions for consumers if the engineering firm creates goods. Constructions companies would have to fund the construction of the government schemes, which will be paid out several months later. When a new chemical manufacturing company finds it difficult to persuade distributors to carry their goods, the dilemma can be solved by a credit extension. However, a new problem will be developed in exchange how to fund the credit agreement. Next, we have the financing the purchase of inventory. To many businesses, the management of sufficient inventory is essential to be kept in storage. Raw materials, equipment, and the parts are required so that they will be available when needed. Many businesses cannot cope with the delays in the availability in the manufacturing process of the necessary materials inputs, so this must be kept ready whenever necessary. However, the procurement of sufficient inventory would entail adequate financing, and this must be ensured. Inventories unnecessarily tie up huge sums of funds often. Anyway, must be devised by the engineering manager to ensure that this scenario does not happen. And lastly, under the determination of fund requirements is the financing the purchase of major assets. Companies at times need to acquire substantial properties. When top management decides on expansion, investments in capital assets such as land and, and equipment would be needed. It is clearly that the funding of large asset acquisitions must come from long-term sources. Here we have an example of firms' finances and cash flows, where the factors of customers, sales, cash, inventory, as how it received by the accounts. First is the cash. We have the long-term financing, such as the long-term debt, common stock, retained earnings. Also, we have the marketing securities, and last, the short-term fund sources. This includes the commercial banks, commercial paper houses, finance companies, factors, insurance companies. The cash turned into long-term assets such as the production equipment, lands, and buildings, and may also be under the supply materials that can be inventorized into sales and how it received by the accounts.